The desert wind howled through Dustbone Canyon like a banshee's wail, carrying with it whispers of a curse that had plagued the territory for nigh on 20 years. In the ramshackle town of Copper Creek, folks spoke in hushed tones about Widow Blackthorne and her peculiar beauty parlor at the edge of town, a place where young women went in looking fresh as morning dew and came out looking like they'd aged 10 years in a single afternoon. Martha Blackthorne had arrived in Copper Creek in 1873, appearing overnight like a tumbleweed blown in by the storm. She was already old then, her face carved with deep lines and her hair white as bleached bones. But her eyes, Lord have mercy! Her eyes sparkled with an unnatural vitality that made grown men uncomfortable and set dogs to howling. She set up shop in an abandoned saloon, hanging a crooked sign that read, Blackthorne's Beauty Emporium. Youth restored, beauty renewed. The townsfolk thought it was a cruel joke at first. What could an ancient crone know about beauty? But then the miracles began. Young Sarah Mitchell was the first. At 19, she'd been considered the plainest girl in 3 counties, with mousy brown hair and skin marked by childhood smallpox. Her desperate mother brought her to Widow Blackthorne, willing to pay any price for her daughter's happiness. Sarah emerged from that parlor transformed, her skin smooth as silk, her hair golden as wheat, her figure curved in all the right places. The whole town gasped when she walked down Main Street that Sunday morning. Every unmarried man in Copper Creek suddenly found reasons to tip his hat to Sarah Mitchell. But something was wrong. While Sarah had gained an otherworldly beauty, she moved slowly, complained of constant fatigue, and seemed to have lost her spark, that inner fire that makes a person truly alive. Her family was too dazzled by her new appearance to notice how she aged rapidly over the following months. Word spread like wildfire. Soon, young women came from as far as Santa Fe and Denver, carrying their life savings and their mother's jewelry, desperate for Widow Blackthorne's mysterious treatments. What the townsfolk didn't understand, what they refused to see, was the terrible arithmetic at work. For every young woman who left Blackthorne's parlor looking like a goddess, the widow herself seemed to grow a little less ancient. Her back straightened slightly, her step grew lighter, and those unsettling eyes blazed with ever more intensity. Meanwhile, the transformed girls began showing a disturbing pattern. Within 6 months of their treatment, they all looked older than their years, their beauty fading like flowers in an early frost. Within a year, most had died of mysterious ailments, heart failure, consumption, sudden fevers that no doctor could explain. But new girls kept coming. Desperation makes people blind to patterns, and Widow Blackthorne was careful to space out her work, never taking more than 1 girl at a time, always allowing months to pass between treatments. Sheriff Tom Cassidy began keeping a ledger. In 20 years, 347 young women had visited Blackthorne's parlor. Of those, 298 had died before their 25th birthday. But whenever he tried to investigate, strange accidents would befall him. His horse would throw him, his gun would misfire, documents would disappear from his office. The widow had protection beyond the natural world. Then came Elena Rodriguez. Elena was different from the start. The daughter of a Mexican vaquero and a Comanche medicine woman, she possessed not just natural beauty but also her grandmother's knowledge of the old ways. The real old ways, the magic that predated the widow's dark arts by thousands of years. At 18, Elena was already stunning, with raven black hair that caught the sunlight like obsidian and eyes the color of deep forest pools. She didn't need Widow Blackthorne's treatments, but she came to the parlor anyway, drawn by dreams that had been haunting her for months. Visions of girls crying out from some dark place, their youth being drained away like water from a broken barrel. "I want to look in your mirror," Elena said when she entered the parlor that fateful autumn day. Widow Blackthorne cackled, her voice like grinding millstones. "My mirror shows truth, child. Are you sure you can handle what you might see?" "I reckon I can handle more than you think, old woman." The mirror that Widow Blackthorne led her to wasn't made of silver-backed glass like normal mirrors. This one was carved from a single piece of black obsidian, its surface so dark it seemed to swallow light. Ancient symbols were etched around its frame, symbols that Elena recognized from her grandmother's teachings. "Look deep, child," the widow crooned. See what you truly are beneath that pretty face. But when Elena looked into the obsidian mirror, she saw not her own reflection but the truth of Widow Blackthorne's evil. She saw a vast underground chamber filled with the spirits of hundreds of young women, their essences trapped in crystal vessels, their life force slowly feeding into the widow's withered form. She saw the truth. Martha Blackthorne wasn't just old, she was ancient. She'd been practicing this dark magic for centuries, moving from town to town, always taking just enough to survive but never so much as to draw the attention of those who might stop her. But Elena also saw something the widow didn't expect her to see: the source of her power. Hidden beneath the floorboards of the parlor was an artifact from the old country, a bone chalice carved with demonic faces, filled with the concentrated essence of every girl whose youth had been stolen. "You see too much, child," Widow Blackthorne hissed, her facade of kindly old woman falling away like a snake shedding its skin. Her true form was revealed: skin like ancient leather, fingernails grown into talons, and those terrible eyes now glowing with malevolent fire. But Elena had been ready for this moment her entire life. Her grandmother had taught her the old songs, the ones that could bind evil and break curses. As the widow lunged forward with inhuman speed, Elena began to sing. The words were in a language older than Spanish, older than English, older than any tongue spoken by the settlers of the American West. It was the language of the earth itself, of wind and water and growing things. The obsidian mirror cracked. The crystal vessels in the hidden chamber began to shatter one by one. And for the first time in centuries, Widow Blackthorne felt her stolen power beginning to drain away. What followed was a battle that shook the very foundations of Copper Creek. Windows shattered throughout the town as Elena's song clashed with the widow's dark magic. The earth trembled, horses screamed and broke free from their hitching posts, and every dog in town howled in harmony with the mystical forces at war. Widow Blackthorne threw everything she had at the young woman: shadows given form, winds that cut like knives, illusions designed to break the mind. But Elena stood firm, protected by generations of wisdom and the righteous fury of every girl whose life had been stolen. As the battle reached its climax, Elena smashed through the floorboards and seized the bone chalice. The moment her hands touched it, she felt the anguish of hundreds of trapped souls, but also their hope, their desperate need for release. "By the power of earth and sky, by the spirits of those you've wronged, I break your hold on this world," Elena shouted, raising the chalice high above her head. Widow Blackthorne shrieked, a sound like metal tearing, as Elena brought the chalice down on the obsidian mirror. The impact released an explosion of pure light that could be seen from miles away. In that moment, every girl whose essence had been trapped was finally free. Their spirits rose like golden butterflies, swirling around the parlor in a dance of liberation before ascending to whatever realm awaited them beyond. As for Widow Blackthorne, without her stolen power, her true age finally caught up with her. She crumbled to dust in seconds, centuries of borrowed time reclaimed in an instant. The only thing left of her was a small pile of ash and the echo of her final, frustrated scream. The townspeople found Elena standing in the ruins of the beauty parlor, unmarked but exhausted. She told them everything, and though some found it hard to believe, the evidence was undeniable. In the hidden chamber beneath the parlor, they found the bones of dozens of young women who had been reported as having died of natural causes. Sheriff Cassidy finally had his answers, though they brought him no joy. The families of the victims found some peace in knowing the truth, and proper burials were arranged for the remains. Elena Rodriguez became something of a legend throughout the territory. They say she rode from town to town after that, using her grandmother's knowledge to hunt down other practitioners of dark magic who preyed on the innocent. Some claimed she never aged a day, protected by the blessings of the spirits she'd freed. As for Copper Creek, the town slowly healed from the widow's curse. Young women began visiting again, this time to see Elena, who had taken over the old parlor and turned it into a place of genuine healing, using herbs and natural remedies passed down through generations of medicine women. And if you were to visit Copper Creek today, old-timers will still tell you that on quiet desert nights, you can sometimes see golden lights dancing in the wind, the spirits of those long-departed girls, finally free to find their eternal rest. The bone chalice was destroyed, the obsidian mirror lay in permanent ruin, and the evil that had plagued the territory for 20 years was ended forever. But the memory remained, a reminder that sometimes the most beautiful promises hide the darkest truths, and that it takes courage, and the wisdom of those who came before us, to stand against ancient evil. In the end, Widow Blackthorne learned what all who traffic in dark magic eventually discover. No matter how much power you steal, no matter how many lives you destroy, justice has a way of finding you. And when it does, all the stolen youth and beauty in the world won't save you from paying the price for your crimes.